Welcome back to Conspiracy Theories and Chill. On this episode, we're going to get into what is really going on with the protests in France. And yes, I said protests. I realize that the little bit that our propaganda machine media is even reporting on the Yellow Vest protests, they refer to it as riots, but it's a protest. And it's not just over a gas tax, as they'd also have you believe. There is so much more behind it. And all the people of the world should join with France because they are fighting back against the oligarchs and the New World Order agenda that is enslaving us all. The French people have had enough of the greed that is constricting us. They've been pushed past their limit and have united together in protest against it. What they are doing is not only brave and admirable, it is necessary. That is how real change happens, and that is why they make it so hard to do and misreport it when it does. We're slaves. Slavery never ended, it was just reimagined to include us all. We're kept overwhelmed with burdens and responsibilities by design to make it nearly impossible to do what is necessary in a true democracy. If the people don't actively participate in a democracy, it can turn into the beast system that we now have. Greed has been allowed a stranglehold on our society, and whether we like it or not, our only course of defense is to follow the example being shown right now in France and rise up against it. And even though the media would have you believe they are rioting, that's not what's happening. For the most part, it's a massive but peaceful protest. Now that's not to say that some rioting hasn't happened, but let's keep in mind a few things. One, provocateurs are commonly used to justify police intervention in protest situations. So, and especially with the small overall percentage that's gone on in the French protests of violence, I think you have to take all of that with a grain of salt, especially when you consider that they are standing up against a militarized police force. It's important to understand that tear gas and riot police are being used as well, on, as I said, generally peaceful protesters, just because the police feel that too many of them have gathered in a certain area, not because they were violent, but because their numbers were growing too large. And that's what it's all about and what's truly at stake here. Our only strength is our numbers, and the only way to use that strength is to be united, which is why so much energy is spent making sure we stay divided as possible. We are the many and they are the few. We're only weak because we've allowed them to make us believe that we are. We're not, though. United, we're unstoppable, and the French are showing us that right now, which is why the media is misrepresenting it as riots so the average American doesn't get any crazy ideas of rising up right along with them. Which is exactly what needs to happen. If it doesn't, we're doomed. The New World Order agenda is moving forward towards its final stages at a rapid pace, and a big part of what is really behind these protests in France is the push of the mark of the beast system. You see, France is leading the New World Order agenda charge to digitize the population by 2022. That means within 5 years, every citizen of France will have a digital ID card with a chip in it that contains all of their data and information, otherwise known as the mark of the beast. So it turns out it's not in your hand or forehead, it's in your wallet. And the mark of the beast won't stop in France, it will spread like a virus throughout the world. We need to join the French and fight back against the oligarchs in the New World Order while we still can, because that time is coming to an end at a frightening pace. Otherwise, we're going to be living in their New World Order agenda. We're going to be living in smart cities crammed together like mice in a lab with all of our data and finances on a chip that can be shut down with the press of a button should we decide to cause any trouble for the establishment. We'll be completely replaced by automation and on a government stipend to survive. Completely dependent on the system. Powerless. And that's what they want. The only question at this point is, are we going to give it to them? If we don't join the French and fight back against what is coming, then yes, we are. So if you're waiting for the time to fight back, it is now. The beast system is in its final stages and time is running out. People are feeling that and rising up against it in self-defense. And the powers that be are using their media to convince you that they are just a small group of violent rioters. It's lies. That's all the beast deals in is lies. In this world of deceit, you have to seek out and find your own truth. And when you find it, you have to spread and share it with others to fight back against the lies. The bottom line is we have to unite. And we have to rise up together en masse and fight back, or it will soon be too late. I don't want to see that happen, and I definitely can't do nothing and stay silent while it does. So thanks for watching, and please share and like this video to spread the truth of what is actually happening with the Yellow Vest protests in France. And we'll see you next time right here from me on Things and Stuff.